Okay, welcome back to Modern Learning. This is part 5. This is going to be a shorter one, and today we're going to be explaining what is real online, right? So, this is a natural next step that we can make, and explaining what is real online is important because in the modern internet, reality is no longer what just happened. Reality is what gets shown, what gets repeated, what gets edited, clipped, boosted, and emotionally framed. And that is ultimately the problem. Online, one thing that triggers the emotional strength often feels like it's the most real, right? So, whichever has the most emotional pull. And I want you to think for a second last time you heard somebody make a take online, how often do they use the term I feel when they make that statement? Okay, it's always going to be like, oh, well, I feel that, I feel that, I feel that. Well, this is how I feel, and this is how I feel, and this is how I. You never really hear somebody say that this is a fact, and here's how we can verify that fact. Because there's an ultimate reason for that, because it's not true. You know, like when somebody says I feel and then follow that sentence, immediately it's not true. Okay? And it's never been true because feelings are not real in terms of a factual context, right? And what I mean by fake is in multiple ways, right? Because you can have fake context, fake urgency, fake outrage, fake consensus, fake importance, fake intimacy, fake conflict, fake everything, essentially. And that exists online, you know, because you can't really tell what's real or what's not from sitting behind a screen or your laptop or whatever. You just simply can't, especially another person's feelings. A quick example of this, right? Say you're in a text with one of your buddies, all right, and they send a joke, you know, and you don't necessarily think the joke is funny, but you still go ahead and send like the laughing, oh my God, I'm crying, laughing on the floor. Meanwhile, your face is straight face, you know, you're plain. You don't have any real emotion towards it. So they might be thinking, hey, they found that joke funny, but in reality, it wasn't funny and nobody laughed. You only just sent that social signal just because you wanted them to feel a certain way that you thought the joke was funny. And so this is where we can get to. And so somebody could take a clip, right? A clip of whatever YouTube video out of context and make a fake caption to represent that video, you know? And we see this a lot of times where maybe two people are in an argument or whatever, and the caption is like, oh, this one person just exploded for no reason and blew up. Meanwhile, the caption is completely bogus. We don't know who started the interaction or whatever, and it just blows up out of nowhere for no reason. And that kind of creates this wild witch hunt narrative that we can harp on, but it's not real whatsoever, and there's no actual facts based in this, okay? And it's the same thing with the trend, right? So online, okay, you have trends, right? Now, how many of these trends are actually real? The answer is slim to none, okay? Because once again, the internet and how it works with our algorithms are going to dominate us and dominate what is chosen to be displayed in the next scroll or in the next post on your feed in particular to generate your emotions. So most of these trends that are being pushed online are being pushed for a specific reason to play on a specific emotion. And 9 times out of 10, they're straight up manufactured. They're not real, you know? And a beautiful life, right? It can be real for 10 seconds and fake as a full picture. You get what I'm saying? And this is why the modern internet illiteracy is it just true or false? Because that's way too simple. The better questions is who framed this for me, right? When you see a post, you should ask, who framed this for me? You should ask, what beneficial evidence do I get from believing in this? Or how do I benefit from believing in this, you know? Or why is this being shown to me right now? Those are a lot of the questions that we should be asking. So why is this shown to me. So next time you see something online that appears to be completely pie out of the sky, completely negative, doesn't necessarily fit your vibe, your tone, your whatever, think about it. Why is this being shown to me? You know, I really ask that question. And oftentimes you'll understand that it's nowhere near the truth. It's more so just the emotional trap that the algorithm is laying for you to interact with it, so it'll show you more like that. And that's usually where this comes from. And these emotional reactions become the doorway, like I said, because you click because you're mad, you share because you're shocked, you comment because you feel attacked, you believe because it feels like it explains everything, you know? And online does not always mean it is real. Even if you see something that looks like it's completely factual, you still have to question, why is this being shown to me? And sometimes fake means emotionally engineered, which we just talked about. So before you react, pause, especially if something immediately makes you angry. Please take a pause. If something makes you feel like everyone agrees, take a pause. And something makes you feel like the world is ending, take a pause. Because more often than not, it's not. Okay? And there's the thing, okay? The truth, right? And what is real, what is the truth, will be shown in between two extremes. Extremes. Okay? And in the middle exists the truth. Okay? So in between two extremes on both sides is where the truth is probably ultimately going to lie. And we have to understand that because the algorithms will push the extreme for both sides of a narrative, no matter what, if it's true or not, whether it gains attention and whether it gains clicks, it's going to be dominated. So therefore, the two narratives that are always going to be dominated are the extreme ones. So that is why the truth will only exist in the middle of that. And the reason why this is purple, these are black, right? This shows what's actually being displayed online. So you're going to see extremes of two narratives online. That's what you're going to most likely see. Whereas the truth in the middle is going to be hidden. It's not going to be out there because it can't be out there because there's no incentive for it to be pushed. You know, people ultimately don't want to hear the truth because that's the more boring path. Whenever they see a news event, whenever they see a specific topic, they want to feel a certain type of way that validates them. They don't care about the actual, what's actually true, what's not, what's actually should be displayed, where the facts lie. They only care, does it fit their narrative? Does it play on their emotional strings the way that they want it to? And if it doesn't, they're just simply not going to interact with it. That's why the truth gets passed up online, and you'll never see it being displayed prominently. Okay? So, one thing I want to end on, and this is going to be really quickly, right? Online, reality is not only what you see, reality is what remains true after the emotions fade, okay? And the fake thing is often the thing that needs your reaction immediately, you know? So you see a post online and it is making you feel so upset, it's making you feel a certain type of way. I want you to stop and ask yourself, when you feel calm, right, will your reaction remain the same? And that is the important thing, because if you continue to act out of the emotional state from the two extremes, you will be caught in that loop. And eventually, you'll be so far on one side, the truth will be forgotten completely on your timeline. So that is something that you should look at. I hope you guys enjoyed this little quick part 5 on what is real and what is not online. But if I were you, I would suggest if it makes you feel any type of way, angry, emotion, negatively, it is not real. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one.